TeachQueenQ, and I'm back with another video featuring Sheba. I know y'all can't see her, but she's down here. So today I'm gonna share with you my strategy or my recommendations on how to pass the, how do you even say this word? How to pass this TExES Educator Examination exam, okay? TExES, however you say that. I'm trying to show you how to pass it. Let me give you a little bit of background knowledge. So I am an education major at Texas Women's University. I am supposed to be student teaching in January and graduating in May. So the pressure is on, okay? My school requires education majors to have their state exams passed before you graduate and the semester before you student teach, because they're not going to let you student teach if they don't know or they don't feel like you're prepared to become a teacher. They don't want to push you out there and you're unprepared. So what they do before they allow you to take the exams is take a practice exam. They feel like the information that they put on the practice exam is equivalent to the information that they're looking for on the state exam. So we have 3 attempts to pass this exam. And in most cases, they don't change the questions, but you don't ever get to see the correct answers. So whatever certifications you're trying to take for your degree plan, you have to pass those exams. So I've been having to take the PPR exam, which is the Professional Pedagogy and Responsibilities exam, the EC through 6 core subjects, which is basically my main exam, which is my information, my content. So instead of me being proactive and taking the exams when I first got into the education program, I waited until this semester, which meant that was a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. So I had to buckle down and figure out a way to pass these exams the first time. So I'm going to share with you how I passed in the first exam, but it took a little bit, right? So you have to get an 80 on these exams. So I was making a 72, 76 on these exams, and what the information that I was given from 2 application programs wasn't helping me. The first application program I was using was 240 Tutoring, and that is the one that a lot of people recommended. They said it would be good for you, and if you can, get it, it's cheaper, go ahead and do that. So I got 240 Tutoring, took the exams, and I found out a little bit after that they reused the questions from the diagnostics exams, and they reused them from different modules. And so I wasn't actually learning the material, I was learning to memorize the answers. So that was not beneficial for me. So I went on a search to look for another study program. There's another study program called Certified Teacher. Now that cost, it's a one-time payment, and you can have it for up to 3 years, I believe. But the only thing is it's a little expensive, and you have to pay for each component or each, so like they have a test guide, a study exam, or you can buy the mix of both of them for a higher price. So I bought the test prep, which only came with the questions and a couple flashcards. So I used that, and while it was beneficial, it was expensive. The thing that I liked about Certified Teacher is that when you get a question wrong, it doesn't automatically give you the correct answer. So when you click your answer, it doesn't tell you what the correct answer is immediately. It just tells you whether you got it incorrect or correct. So it gave me time to be able to figure out, go back and study, decide, where my misconception was or why I might have gotten the answer wrong. And if I decided that I wanted to know why I got the answer wrong, you can click See Explanation and it'll show it to you. So that's my perspective on 240 and Certified Teacher. These are the resources that actually cost money. So I would probably use these as a last resort, just because a lot of people don't have money to be able to pay for these applications and take the state exams, because they are $115 a piece. So the resources that I do recommend you using are the free ones, okay? So the number one resource we all know about and we all can use is Quizlet. If you type in your state exam, like if you type in, like ours is the TExES, that's what it is in Texas. If you type that in, your grade that you're trying to teach, mine is EC through 6, You can type in 4th through 8, 7 through 12, and then type in your subject area. 9 times out of 10, it'll pull up some study material that'll be beneficial for you, and it's completely free. That I feel like really helped me because it came. A lot of people had put some practice questions on there, and they basically just teach you what the test is looking for. The next resource that I feel like will help you is your local library. So I went to my library and I typed in the exam name that I was going to take. So the first exam I took was the PPR exam. So I typed in TExES PPR at my local libraries, on my local library's website, and it pulled up these resources. So it had books that were available for me to check out. I checked those books out. I'll link a picture in because I checked out 4 books at one time. And I read through one book, which I actually have it here. I rented this book at the library, but I decided to go ahead and buy it because it was like prime time for everybody to be studying for the exams, and I couldn't renew it. So I went ahead and bought it. It was about $26 on Amazon. Very beneficial. So while I don't feel like this gives you everything you need for the exam, the questions definitely prep you. And so the thing that I feel is most beneficial for anybody, and I mean anybody, who's going to be taking these exams is to take a bunch of practice exams. And that's important because when you take those exams, you start to become familiar with what the exam wants. You'll be familiar with what kind of information they're looking for. And if you see a question that's similar to one that you've taken in your practice exam, you're more likely to get that answer correct because you remember it. So that's why I feel like it's beneficial for you to get a study book. It doesn't matter which one. I didn't care which one I got. I know a lot of people like this book. It's the one from Luis Rosado. A lot of people talked about this book. Some like it, some don't. But I like that it has exams for each and every section. It has explanations in the back of the book as to why the answer was right and why the other ones are wrong. And it just covers a lot of information. So I don't know if y'all can see that, but yeah. So the first part of the book tells you exactly what you need to know for taking the exam, how to register. So keys to passing the exam. Okay. Number 1, I already said you need to study. Number 2, you need to take a bunch of practice exams. Number 3, you need to make sure that you've gone to the bathroom before the exam. I don't know if anybody has told you or not, this exam is timed. 5 hours is a long time to take the core exam, but what they don't tell you is the 5 hours is broken up for every section. So I don't know how much time is for each one, but I can tell you that they don't give you time in between exams. So if you use up all your time in one section of the exam, you can't leave because the next test is automatically going to start. So go to the bathroom, take a drink, bring you some gum, move your legs, do all of that before you start the exam, because if you have to get up, it's taking time out of your exam. And you don't want to be one of those people who's taking the exam and you're doing well, but you miss 10 or 15 questions because you got up to go to the restroom. I feel it's most important to remember, again, what the exam is looking for. So there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. So one thing that helps me on the test, my professor told us that we need to think about what would happen in a perfect world. Don't go in there assuming or thinking about the real life aspects of what happens in a classroom where, you know, maybe in your district you don't have enough supplies, or you don't have family support, or the faculty isn't on your side. Don't think about that during the test. Think if it was a perfect world, you had the perfect situation, how would you handle this situation? That's what the test wants. The test is not like mean teachers. They don't like people who nag their kids, and they don't want people who exclude people. The second thing is that there's always going to be red flags. One of the books that I rented there are keywords that literally tell you what exactly, if you can see it in the question, it's 9 times out of 10 going to be in the answer. 2 of the answer choices are always going to be like, no, don't answer that. And then 2 of them for me are always so close. And the problem is that one of them always seems like what I want to do, and the other one is always what should be done. So that's another thing. You kind of got to like cut yourself off from what you think and cut it on to what the teacher would do, the best teacher would do. And then to ease your mind, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, because I don't know if anybody's told you, but the exam coordinators, graders, whatever you want to call them, they have questions on the exam that are not even going to be graded. Okay? I sat for my exam and I took the PPR exam. That is 100 questions. When I took the exam, I flagged 20 questions. You're supposed to get an 80 on this exam. You're supposed to get an 80 on the exam. So I'm thinking, sorry, that's Sheba. So I'm thinking, since I flagged 20 questions, I've automatically shot myself out of the race. No, the exam people have already marked those questions out. So you have a fighting chance. Don't go in there and give up just because you don't feel like you can make it or you've already lost too many questions. There's questions on there that don't even count, okay? Those are some tips that I felt were beneficial in helping me pass. And I know a lot of people don't talk about it until they're right up into it, like having to take the exam. So start early, you guys. Take your exams early. Do not wait till the semester before you have to student teach. Do not wait till you are in a crunch, because that's what I did. My crunch started, I could have started in January, but I waited all the way until 3 months before I needed to have it to try to take my exams. That put so much weight on my shoulders. Don't do that to yourself. Get out there and go take it as soon as you can. 9 times out of 10, you will pass it. Especially if you study, especially if you listen to what I told you, you're gonna pass. So anyways, good luck to you. I hope and wish only the best for you. I'm praying for you. Give me a thumbs up if you think that the tips that I gave were beneficial. And if you don't, keep that to yourself. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.